This video contains a few reminders about properties in Stratum.Viewer that can have a positive impact on using Viewer's Export to Excel functionality. Export to Excel functionality exports the entire view result set, including any charts. If you don't need to see the entire result set prior to performing the export, save your view in collapsed mode, also known as page mode. In that mode, your data will display a page at a time in the viewer grid. However, all rows and columns will still be included in the exported results. The view we're looking at is in expanded mode. The navigation arrows and numbers in the toolbar show you that all rows and columns are displayed. I'll switch the view to collapsed mode using an Expand Collapse View toggle button above the grid. The pop-up label tells me that I will be switching the view to collapsed mode. The grid refreshes and the navigation arrows are enabled for scrolling among pages. Notice that the navigation numbers also reflect the change. Let's save that change and check out a couple more tips before we look at the exported results. The next two tips can be useful if you are planning on manipulating the data in the export. First, you may want to consider disabling totals in the rows and columns. In this example, totals are enabled for rows, as you can see from this subtotal row. I will disable the totals using a pop-up menu on the row axis icon above the grid, choosing Totals, then No from the provided menus. Finally, let's look at the Repeating Values property. This value controls whether or not repeated dimension values and descriptions are displayed in the grid. You may want to consider enabling the property so that the repeating values display in your exports. In our example, repeating values is set to No. I can tell this because the value and description for ABC classification and product category levels only display once for each classification and category. For example, the first set of products belongs to category 208, frozen prepared dinners, from classification A. Those values only display in the row for the first product in that set. Users with access to View Explorer can control the repeating values property. I'll open View Explorer and change that property now to show you how the look of the view changes. I'll double-click the Rows folder in View Explorer. Set repeating values to Yes, then click OK in the Apply Changes window. Look at the first set of products again. The A, 208, and frozen dinners values repeat in each row. The same is true for other product sets on this and other pages in the view, such as the start of this set for A, 200 fresh vegetables. I'll save the view to retain these changes and we'll look at the exported results. Here's the export file that was created from the view we were just working on. Scrolling down and across, you can see that all rows and columns were exported. There are no subtotal or grand total rows, and the values and descriptions for ABC classification and product category display in every row for every set of products.